everybody and welcome back to the channel, and if you're here for the very first time, it's an absolute pleasure to meet you. I'm Jane. My husband Mike is behind the camera. We're British early retirees. We've got no debt, we've paid off the mortgage, and we live a thrifty, frugal and money-saving life here in Brittany in northwest France. And every Friday we bring you something food related. Now this week we want to talk about cooking with store cupboard staples. So, have you got in the back of your cupboard any tins of meat that you think, well, when I rotate my stock, I really should probably use that up? You might have Spam. There's nothing wrong with Spam, it's just processed pork cooked in the tin and it lasts forever and it's a good one. But you know, it will have a date on it somewhere that you do need to rotate it by. So this one is by 2027. So if this was at the end of the date, I would make sure I was using it. I've cooked this for you today to give you an example of using it up. You might have cooked chicken, you might have cooked pork. Could this work with cooked beef? Probably. Cooked beef. Could this work as a recipe with leftover meat? You've picked the meat off the chicken, you've roasted a chicken, you bought a rotisserie chicken? Yes. So what I'm going to share with you today is a super duper use what you've got in the cupboard recipe and use up any leftovers recipe. It's essentially an egg fried rice, which is a complete meal in itself. It's got your carbs with the rice, it's got a tin of meat in it or a tin of chicken in it or your leftover meat. For you vegans out there, you can leave out the egg. And I've saw a recipe for fried rice. We've used any beans, kidney beans, white beans, pinto beans, black beans, any beans you like to get the protein in there. So it's everything in one meal. There's the carbs, there's the vegetables, there's the spices, there's the flavour, there's the proteins. So let's get cooking where I show you what I would do if I needed to use up a humble tin of meat or a humble tin of beans that I've used, that I found in the back of the cupboard. I will start off by going through the ingredients and talk about alternatives that you could use if you do not have what I have. So I'm making a stir-fried egg fried rice. So the essentials you need for egg fried rice are rice, eggs, and onion. Now, the absolute essentials are ginger, chilli, and garlic. And I don't have any. So I have no ginger, chilli, and garlic. If I did, I would use fresh garlic, fresh ginger, and fresh chilies. I don't have that. I have powdered garlic powder, and I have dry chilies, of which I will put a sprinkle in. I don't have any ginger. I'm going to use Chinese 5 spices in this, not a lot, but you wouldn't need to use that if you had ginger, chilli, and garlic. As you saw, I've got my tin of meat that I want to use up, but you don't have to put meat in this. You can just make this without any meat. I have bought, to make this today, a bag of stir-fried vegetables. It says a la Asiatic. So any stir-fried vegetables will do. You could use, I'm showing this here as an example. I've got French smoked sausage here. You could use any kind of Polish sausage in this, chopped up. You could use a tin of meat, you could use a tin of Spam, you could use a tin of chicken, anything you like. So you can add any vegetables to this. If you had any cooked carrots, you could add cooked carrots. If you had peppers to use up, you could just chop up a pepper and add that in. And of course, you can add in eggs. You're going to say, oh Jane, I am a vegan. Leave the eggs out. It's just fried rice. Fried rice, and put some vegan alternative to meat in it. I don't know what you eat. I'm not a vegan. But just leave out the eggs and call it fried rice. It's a way of, if you've cooked rice and you've got some spare, or you're like me and you've got some in a bag that you want to use up, and it's a way of just using it. So anything can go with fried rice. So like I said, I wanted to show people what would you do if you had a tin of processed meat in your cupboard. And this is the nearest thing we have here in France to Spam. And I bet you some of you have got some tins of meat at home that you just think, I don't know what to do with that. Well, I'm going to show you how to turn it into something absolutely lovely. Probably, you may have picked up, as I have done here, a bag of stir-fry vegetables. Superb if you want to obviously make a stir-fry, but if you want to use them up, they are absolutely fabulous in egg fried rice. So, as I always show you, you've got some alternatives to you here. I've got my soy sauce. Soy sauce is fabulous to splash in at the end, but it's not essential. You don't like it? Don't use it. If you want to add in chili sauce at the end, you add that. But basically, you can take what you like, add it to cooked rice, fry it up and call it fried rice, or add in eggs and call it egg fried rice. Let's go through the ingredients that I am going to use. So I have cooked my rice and I followed the instructions on the packet. And here we've got about 1.5 cups each of cooked rice. So there you go. And then here, I've measured this with the American cups. This is 2 cups of mixed frozen vegetables for each of us, because that completely shrinks. That'll be half the size when it's cooked. There isn't any onion in there, so I have cut up 1 onion. This is the cooked pork, including the jelly, which is gelatine, which has got like a stock flavour to it and it adds more taste to it. I've left it in big chunks. You might cut it smaller than that, but I find it easier to eat. So rice, vegetables of your choice, meat or not. I did have a Google of this when I was thinking about this. And if you want to make a vegan version of this, leave out the eggs, make an egg fried rice. Maybe you might have a tin of mixed beans or any tin of beans. It suggested black beans. Sure, that would be absolutely lovely. So you can use onion or not, and any spices that you've got. Now, if you've got ginger, chilli and garlic, use that. But what you're going to see me do next is I'm going to make the omelette that I make first. And it doesn't have to be a perfect omelette because you're just going to cut it up and add it at the end to the egg fried rice. So next, I'm going to make my omelette. So when I make an omelette, I do not want my pan to be too hot because you can see I don't use a non-stick pan. I always use butter in mine. If you don't like to use butter, you can use oil. It doesn't matter. But I want to coat the pan in butter. I've used, my butter is Breton butter, so it is salted butter. If you want, you can season your omelette. You don't need to. You want to taste the stir fry. And then I'm going to get my eggs in. And I've got it on a low heat. I'm going to let it set and then pull the omelette back, which you will understand when I do it. So I pull it back, I let it set. That's all I'm doing. If you wanted to make this as like a scrambled egg, so you think, well, I can't be bothered to do that, you can do that. Some people like to tip their eggs into the rice at the end. I'm not too keen on that. I like to, let's turn this heat down. I have got an induction hob that I hate with a passion. I hate it as much as I hate wind and rain. But I'm just basically wanting to keep the eggs as solid as I can. Flip it. So that's not an omelette, Jane, that's scrambled. As I said, it doesn't matter. It's all going to get broken up. I just want to keep the eggs. There we go. as solid as I can, so you've got a lump of egg when you're eating the egg fried rice. That will do for me. I'll turn off the heat. So I've cooked my egg so it's omelette-ish, but what I wanted to do was have it in lumps so you can see the definition of the egg in the egg fried rice when I eat it. Okay, so as you can see, I don't own a wok. It is obviously best to do this with a wok. Use whichever oil you've got, but don't use olive oil. Olive oil smokes. So I use I've got rapeseed oil here, colza, which I know some of you are going to lose your temper about. It's okay. Because it's good for occasional use for things like this. I'm getting my pan nice and hot. You might think that's a lot of oil. You can use less if you want, but I don't like it burning. I'll start off with my onion. I'll speak near the camera now. If you are going to use ginger, chilli and garlic, that would go in now. As I said to you, I don't have any. So I've got my onion in, and then in go my frozen vegetables. If you're using frozen vegetables, you have to cook them for longer because they're coated in water. It's at this stage that you could add chili sauce if you wanted to, if you like your food to be spicy. We've got enough chili in it for us. It could be at this stage that you add in your soy sauce. So I've got my gluten-free soy sauce, and I don't add too much, just a splash. Anybody wants more, they can put it on themselves. Now I've had this cooking for about 5 minutes to make sure everything is heated through thoroughly. Because I have just cooked the rice today, literally minutes before you saw me assemble everything, I'm not too worried about how much I'm cooking the rice through. If the rice was yesterday's rice, I would have cooked this for much, much longer. So that's everything there. And now I'm going to add in the egg and stir that through. And now it's simply ready to serve. And there it is, the finished egg fried rice. Now when you saw me add in the cooked egg at the end, it's perfectly okay for you, if you like to add in your raw beaten egg then and cook it through until it's all covered. We like to have it with the lumps of egg in there. It's just the way we like to eat it. But there it is, egg fried rice. If you've made it this far, I'm extremely grateful, and I would even be even more grateful if you could hit the thumbs up button. Now, as I've said to you in a previous cooking video, what we're going to be doing when we share any recipes with you now is I won't be cooking anything especially for you. I am literally going to show you the budget recipes that we eat here on a small supermarket budget. We don't eat fancy food, we don't eat anything special, but we just wanted to share with you what we eat on a budget, which is simple food, as healthy as we possibly can. Not perfect, we're not trying to be perfect. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon. Bye for now.